All right. Thank you very much for joining us. This is Father.Son.Galaxy.
Coming to you from Venice,
Venice. Venice where? Anyway.
Venezuela.
Venice. Okay.
Little dad joke.
Father Son from a son. Father Son. That was a good one. Father.Son.Galaxy.
No,
I am Kerwin. This is Keith. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're new, thank you. Please, like this video and subscribe to our channel if you're not a subscriber. For those of you who've been here before, thank you so much. We can't wait to talk about this episode. This was an interesting one. We got a lot to talk about, and we are going to start with the Darksaber. All right, so let's say hello to who we have so far. Charlie. Hello, Charlie. Thank you for joining us. All right. Thank you so much. We want to. If you're all right with it, I want to start with talking about the Darksaber.
Why would I not be all right?
All right. Okay. Well, here we go then. All right. So we're actually starting from the ending of the episode. Right. We're going backwards. So now it looks like
usually Dad advises me not to.
Yeah, but in this case, I'm very curious. So Bo-Katan has claimed the Darksaber, or she's given the Darksaber. All right. So let's talk about what happened, what took place. All right. So first thing I want to do is give a shout out to a good friend of our podcast, Alex. I don't know if he'll be joining us tonight, but back when we were reviewing episode 2. Right, we talked about what took place with Bo-Katan saving Din Djarin from the mines of Mandalorian, and how she picked up the Darksaber and defeated that cyborg. All right. So apparently, at the end of this episode, what Bo and Din are trying to do is trying to bring all of Mandalore together.
So they want to unite everyone. Basically, remember last episode when the armor was like, remove your helmet for the weirdest reason ever. And then she says to Bo-Katan, you walk both ways, so you can unite all the people.
Right. And that was a plan. So they were going to this planet called Plazir 15 to meet up with them. I guess that's where they're right now. They're mercenaries, right? So they're no longer with Bo-Katan.
They're not.
They left her high and dry because she no longer has the Darksaber. They figured, okay, well, we don't need to follow you.
Yeah, they're not really on speaking terms at this point.
Right. So now the clan is run by Axe Wolves. You saw him from last season, and Casca Reeves. All right. So the two of them are together. Very interesting. So they're on this planet.
Axe is in charge.
Yes, right. So they're on. Did I say something different?
Yeah, you said Axe and Casca. It's just that.
Well, yeah. Okay, so they're together.
They're on the same team.
Yes. All right. So they're on this planet. Apparently they're security details, or they're working for the leaders of this planet.
So they work for Lizzo and Jack Black.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that later. It's in the notes. Let's follow the notes. Okay.
I'm fully aware of what the notes is.
Yeah, but
models are beyond your understanding.
Okay. All right. So the story that Din tells the team, the group, is that the Darksaber belongs to Bo-Katan, and the reason why it belongs to Bo-Katan is because she saved his life back in episode 2. So let's talk about this. So we have a clip that I want to play when we were reviewing episode 2. Alex, again, a friend of our podcast, brought up a question, and we discussed it. So we want to just run this clip and talk about what we were talking about back in episode 2 and how it relates to what happened in this past episode. So Alex, since the weird cyborg alien Din, when he calls Bo-Katan alien and use the Darksaber to defeat the alien, because he can't use that reason to claim the Darksaber. I don't know. I don't think that would be. I don't know if that would be fair to Din, because Din was in trouble. He couldn't defend himself, right? So if he was So, in other words, if you're saying that Din lost the Darksaber to this creature, so now the creature.
So basically, the alien beat Din, but then Bo-Katan beat the alien using the Darksaber.
Interesting. That's
She could technically use that as a stick on the Darksaber.
I never thought of that. That's a very, very interesting point, Alex.
If you think about it,
yeah,
it technically works because he was disarmed in combat. He was bested in combat by the alien and lost the Darksaber, but then Bo-Katan bested the alien.
Right.
So technically, I don't know if this counts. Technically, the Darksaber's hers.
All right. Well, it turns out that's his.
You're the one.
Well, as it turns out, that's exactly what happened. So, all right. My point is that I don't think Din and Bo are telling the whole story. So not Bo, because Bo's not saying anything. This is Din who, made the decision to tell the people of Mandalore that Bo deserves to have this Darksaber because of what happened in the mines of Mandalore. Now, you had a point about that where you felt that was a valid, what Alex mentioned was a valid reason for her to claim the Darksaber.
It is.
Okay. Well, here's my take on this. I don't know if I agree with it. I didn't agree with it back in episode 2. I still don't agree with it now. I'm under the impression, from what I understand, with Mandalorian lore, is that you have to win the Darksaber in combat.
She did.
Well, I don't find that. I don't agree that she won it in combat, because what happened, it wasn't as if the cyborg was fighting Din for the Darksaber. He didn't say, "Hey, Din, I want that Darksaber. I'll challenge you to it."
But remember, Mando didn't fight Moff Gideon for the Darksaber either.
Yes. Well, that's not true. No, that's different. Well, let me finish. Let me tell you my point. The cyborg never had the Darksaber. That was not his intention to get the Darksaber. He just wanted to just knock Din out as a victim.
He wanted some prey.
Right, he wanted to prey. So his plan was not to get the Darksaber. One. So to me that's invalid. It's not a combat. And when Din was knocked out, okay, Bo came in to save him. Yes, she did. But did you see the cyborg holding the Darksaber? No. The Darksaber was on the ground, and she picked it up, and she defeated the cyborg with the Darksaber. So to me, that's not combat. In my opinion. I mean, like, let me know, what you think if you're out listening right now, if you're on the live stream. Do you think Bo earned the Darksaber? To me, what Din is doing is he's saying, okay, well, you deserve it because you fought off the enemy who defeated me. Yes and no. To me,
defeated the person who defeated him.
Yes. Yes and no. To me, it's no different than Sabine giving the Darksaber to Bo because Sabine felt that Bo earned it, right? Or she deserved it. But did she really earn it? Because she didn't win it in combat. And that was the problem, right? So to me, Bo is making the same mistake twice. She didn't earn it when she was given the Darksaber by Sabine. She doesn't earn it now because Din is giving it to her. It was not won in combat. Go ahead.
Yes, it was.
Okay,
So
tell me your
the whole
opinion.
point of view here is when you defeat the owner of the Darksaber in combat, the Darksaber is then your property. Therefore, that droid who beat Mando then owned the Darksaber. Even though they didn't take it, he owns it. And then when Bo-Katan picked up the Darksaber and used it to defeat the droid, she defeated the person who held the Darksaber, meaning that she now owns the Darksaber. So my point here is, remember when Mando fought Gideon, he did win the Darksaber, but he didn't want it in the first place. He was gonna give it to Bo.
But
Mando never wanted the Darksaber.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I'm saying, his battle between the battle between Din and Gideon is different because Gideon clearly had the Darksaber. He had the Darksaber, right? So they're now battling, and Mando grabs the Darksaber, defeats Gideon with it. So yes, in that case, Din did earn the Darksaber because the person on the other side, his opponent, had it and was wielding it. That's not what happened with the cyborg.
It's not necessarily holding it
So it has
as
nothing
much
to do
as
with
it is taking
possession.
possession of it. Because I
Okay.
feel like the way, in my perspective,
Yeah.
the way I'm seeing it here is the droid, while it didn't pick up the Darksaber, it owned the Darksaber.
It was in possession.
That's
of it.
like say you, I don't know, went to the store and brought home like a box of butter cookies.
Yeah.
Even if you don't eat the butter cookies at that exact moment, they're still yours.
Because you own that.
And if I were to give you the money for those butter cookies and buy them from you, that makes them mine. So even if I don't eat them in that exact instant,
They're still in your possession.
still mine.
It still belongs to you. You are the owner. Okay. All
Look
right.
at this. I used butter cookies.
Yes.
That worked.
Once again. All right. I hear your point. I hear your point. Okay. So we want to know how you feel out there. If you're listening to, later on listening to this episode, leave a comment in your streaming platform or leave it on YouTube. But if you're on now live, tell me what you think. Okay, let's go to Q&A.
So, quick Q&A break. Eduardo Gomez, that makes sense.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Okay, and then we have Eduardo.
Bo wants it and Din doesn't. So even if it wasn't one in combat, she did technically beat the droid that beat Din.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's like taking the saber from the person who owned the. So Bo took the saber from the person who owned the saber, from the person who owned the saber, stole the saber from another person who owned the saber, who stole the saber. Let me get this straight. So Bo-Katan took the saber from the droid, who took the saber from Mando, who took the saber from Gideon, who took the saber from Bo-Katan, who took the saber from Sabine, who took the saber from Maul. You see where I'm going?
I see the pattern.
Who took the saber from Vizsla, who took the saber from his ancestors.
Okay, so maybe I'm looking at it too literally. Like you have to have the Darksaber in your hand in order for this to be considered a combat. But you have a point that if you, let's say if you're asleep and you have the Darksaber next to you and somebody comes in and grabs it, that doesn't mean that they have possession of it, right? They still have to fight for it.
That's technically stealing the Darksaber.
That's stealing the
Like if you're doing something else and you have the Darksaber next to you, you turn around and it's gone.
Right.
That's not gaining possession of it. That's just robbing someone.
Okay.
But once you use the Darksaber against them in combat, that's when it becomes yours. As long as you win the fight.
Okay.
When you use it against them in combat and win the fight, that's when the saber becomes yours.
I feel we're being a little too loose with the rules. I don't know. I always got the impression whenever I hear the word combat that it has to be just like what Paz Vizsla tried to do with Din, trying to get that Darksaber. He challenged. It was a formal challenge, and he says, "I want that Darksaber. I'm ready to battle you for it." And then they fight over it, and then Din wins. So I always got the impression that's how it's supposed to work. But now it seems it's not quite that literal that you have to have it in your hand. But as long as you are in possession of it or you own it at that time, if it's taken from you and then used to defeat you, then you have lost possession of the Darksaber and have given it to the other person. Okay, all right, it's fine with me. Charlie, honestly, I don't think Din even wants the Darksaber, right? And I don't think he ever did while wielding it. He found it heavy, like his spirit was not into it. And Bo-Katan wielded it amazingly, and since it's her bloodline. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I agree. But again, Charlie, the same thing happened with Sabine years ago. Sabine gave it to Bo because she feels that Bo was worthy of the Darksaber and she should be the one to lead her people. And things didn't work out for her. And Bo became to regret making that decision because she felt that she should have won it in combat. So to me, it doesn't seem any different now that Din doesn't want it. He's just handing it over and claiming that she deserves it anyway because she defeated the person who defeated him for the Darksaber. Eduardo, the kind of also happened to Darth Maul. Yes. Okay. Now, Darth Maul, okay, so Darth Maul, when he had the Darksaber, how did he lose the Darksaber? I'm trying to remember now.
Didn't Sabine steal it or something?
Well, she found it. Okay,
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure what happened to the Darksaber. I think maybe when Maul left Mandalore, because he was chased out of Mandalore, I think he might have left it behind, and somehow Sabine found it. But no one ever said, well, that's not true. I was going to say, no one ever said that Sabine, it belonged to her. But since she found it, I guess, she is in possession of it. She does have the Darksaber until she gave it to Bo-Katan. Okay. It seems it's not cut and dry as I thought it was. It just seems that the storytellers are a little loose on the lore of how to have possession of this Darksaber.
At this point, we kind of had to switch up the story because for the storytelling sake.
So we had to have Bo have it eventually. Is what you're saying? Okay.
Like Mando couldn't keep the Darksaber forever because he didn't want it in the first place.
True.
Although technically, now that I think about it, there's an easy loophole to get at the Darksaber. Din didn't want it, so you could just tell Bo-Katan, punch me once, and then ask me if I yield. Right. Punch me once, ask me if I yield. I'll tell you I yield. Get the saber.
And to your,
that would have been so easy. Wait, Bo-Katan would have just been like, and one more for good luck. Do you yield? Yes. Here's the saber.
And to your point, you felt that, okay, Bo didn't really owe any of her people an explanation as to how she got the Darksaber, right? You just, she did owe them an explanation as to how she got. No, what I think your point was that if she had it, that's all they needed to know, that she has a Darksaber. She didn't have to provide an explanation as to how she got it.
Where my lapse is how they figured it out that Bo was just handed the Darksaber, because she didn't tell them, as far as I know.
Well, no, I'm talking about.
I mean, in Rebels.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I might be confusing myself. I'm talking about Bo-Katan now.
Yeah, I'm talking about Bo-Katan.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, how is it that in Rebels somebody found out, and that's why all their forces split from her?
Yeah, I don't know, but what the point I'm trying to make is, I remember you were saying that Bo didn't. If Bo has a Darksaber, somehow gets it, or makes up a story that she has it, that she didn't really have to provide an explanation to her people. I'm talking about Casca and Axe. Provide them an explanation as to how she received it, because it wasn't something that they needed to know. The only thing they needed to know is that she had possession of it. They didn't need to know how she got it.
Right.
Okay.
Like, I don't feel that it was necessary for her to explain to them where she got the Darksaber.
Okay.
I feel like all she had to do was wave it above her head, and that's like the calling symbol. Like, someone's got the Darksaber. All right.
All right. Okay. You know what? Again, it's something doesn't. Something seems off. To me, I think she's making the same mistake she made the first time when it was given to her by Sabine. But we'll see what happens. Okay. So now we know at this point, Bo-Katan now has a Darksaber. All right. So let's go into let's go back to Q&A. Charlie, all good. Call back to Rebels. Kanan and Sabine. Absolutely correct. Yes. And to your point, Charlie, I like this world building that we're doing, that we're connecting things. Now, I kind of feel bad. I kind of feel bad for those fans of The Mandalorian who are not really Star Wars fans and may not know about the history. They may be having a hard time following what's going on, right? But for fans like us who have seen Rebels, have seen the Clone Wars, we see it connecting, and that is lovely. That's beautiful. That's what I want to see. So yes, it's a good point. All right. Let's move on and talk about the High Republic. So Charlie, Garsak, was one of the Maul's military mandos, rescued him and gave it back to Maul, and Maul left it on Dathomir. Yes, that's exactly right. For years, then Sabine picked it up. Hope that, yes, you're right, Charlie. It was left on Dathomir. So Maul must have ran off. Gar Saxon, right? Ran off and went to Dathomir, somehow left it there.
I guess he was just
Yeah.
in a hurry.
Yeah, he could have been maybe that was the time when he was trying to go after. Although you would have thought, why didn't he take the Darksaber with him? I was about to say, remember when he went to Tatooine to go after Obi-Wan?
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't take the Darksaber with him. I think that might have helped him defeat. It may have helped him be a better. I mean, he still wouldn't be able to.
Wouldn't that be funny? That's like going to a meeting and saying, I won't bring the briefcase filled with all the important papers.
Yeah.
I'll bring the one filled with half of those important papers.
Yeah.
See how I do at the meeting.
Yeah, I'm just surprised he left it on Dathomir. But anyway, Dallas, thank you very much for joining us.
So I'm about to go fight somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bring whatever weapon's strong.
Gotcha.
I'm not about to go and fight somebody with because like you think about it, a lightsaber is a butter knife compared to the Darksaber.
True.
I'm not gonna go fight somebody with a butter knife when I can get a steak knife.
Yeah, I get your point. I get your point. Yeah, that was a mistake for Maul not to take the Darksaber with him.
And that's why he is one with the sand now.
He's one with the Tatooine sand. Exactly. All right. Let's move on. We're ready to talk about the High Republic?
Yeah, we've spent like 20 minutes.
Yeah, actually, that's the reason why I wanted to get it out the way, because this is something that
that's most of the episode.
Yeah, this is something that was very important and was on my mind. So let's move on to the High Republic. Now, this is interesting. You mentioned, well, now let's wait. Let's talk about the cameos a little bit later. All right. So apparently, there's a lot of problems going on with the High Republic. Okay, so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about their take, their political stance of being pacifists. All right.
The High Republic.
Did I write the High Republic? I meant to say. I'm sorry, my nose. I meant to say the Republic, the New Republic.
Bruh!
Yeah, I made a mistake in my notes. I wrote the High Republic.
Here I am thinking you're going after the High Republic. Well, the High Republic's got a lot of problems.
I wrote the High Republic. So disregard what you see on the screen. It says the High Republic should be the New Republic.
It does say the New Republic.
Okay. Now it says the New Republic. My mistake. Okay. We're on vacation. Hey, we're trying.
And so is Dad's brain.
Yeah, my brain is on vacation as well. All right. Okay, so the New Republic. There's a lot of problems with the New Republic, as we know. So right now, apparently, not everybody, but a lot of the political people in politics are taking. Well, let's talk about in this episode.
They decided to lay out and luxuriate.
Right. They're in this episode. There are a couple of characters who have taken a stance of being pacifists. In other words, they don't want anything to do with war, right? They may not even acknowledge that there used to be wars back in the day, or even if they did, they said, okay, well, that's in the past. We don't need war. There's no war right now. We don't want a war ever. So they've taken this stance that, okay, well, what we want to do is just make a lot of money. We want to be wealthy, we want to be well off, and not even have a military, okay? So, which is very interesting. So here's the problem. The New Republic, people in charge of the Republic have decided that they are okay, or there is a bill that was passed that allowed droids to take over some of the work that used to be done by humans. Okay.
That is correct.
Right. And we have all these droids that are out there with these positions, and all of a sudden they're starting to malfunction for whatever reason. They don't know. So Din and Bo are brought in to investigate the reason for this malfunction. So it turns out, that there's a person in charge, Christopher Lloyd's character.
His name is Commissioner Helgait.
Commissioner Helgait is the one who is actually behind the idea of putting these droids to work, not decommissioning, but reprogramming them to actually
recommission.
Yeah, to do the work of what a human used to do, like these menial tasks, like chefs and chauffeurs, drivers,
bringing
whatever.
around crates, doing the heavy work.
All that stuff, that used to be done by humans. They don't need to do that because humans want to just take a vacation, They want to just
And
spend
the
time.
people of the planet love this, by the way.
And they want to make money and just sit back and just enjoy life, you know, and not work so hard. Which is interesting because it reminded me of, we were talking about Dooku Jedi Lost. We were talking about season 2, episode 1 of the Bad Batch, and about that treasure. Sereno, right? The treasure that the Batch was looking for that belonged to Count Dooku.
I remember.
When Dooku's father, when he was Count, right, he got a lot of pushback for allowing droids to take over the work of a human being. The humans, people of Serrano didn't like that idea. They were very against the idea of having droids take over the jobs.
I can tell you why.
Right, and they had a protest. Here we are. We have this New Republic who loves the idea, like we just said, and it just so happens that the person Helgait that is working on this.
It's kind of an awkward name,
Yeah, that's working on putting these droids to work is a separatist, right? Because
it should. Whatever propaganda this man was pushing, we have enough of this already.
Right. Yeah.
Like, long live Dooku.
Right. And it now makes sense that he is a separatist because, again, this is something.
Why did he turn into the Flag Smashers all of a sudden? He's like, things should go back to the way they were when it was Count Dooku's rule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it makes sense that he is a separatist because that's exactly how things ran many years ago. Like I said, when Count Dooku's father was in charge, and he wanted humans replaced with droids.
Again, couldn't tell you why.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But so it turns out that Helgait was the one. It's not because the droids were malfunctioning for no particular reason.
He programmed
them intentionally, right? Because he wanted to cause chaos, right? He wanted to be in a position where he was going to have these droids actually, literally start another war.
And we're gonna start a riot,
right? And
hence he turned into the Flag Smashers,
right? And turn against the people of Plaza 15, this planet. So Din and Bo, they get to the bottom of it.
Couldn't tell you why.
Yeah, Din. Okay. This is what's happening. So the New Republic, again, there's problems. They got problems. All right, so let's talk about the cameos. All right. Oh, by the way, so we saw battle droids from the prequel trilogy. We saw the super battle droids also as well. So this is all prequel. Seeing battle droids all over again. It's good to see. Well, now we know what happened to these droids after the war is over. They're still being put to work. All right, Q&A.
Really love that callback to Count Dooku from Christopher Lloyd's character. Yeah. Also, Dooku Jedi Lost is amazing.
Yes, it is. Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, Charlie, it's starting to make sense. It's all being connected. So love that idea. All right, let's talk about the cameos. All right, so we had Jack Black, all right, who was a very famous actor, comedian. He's been around for a very long time. So he
can play the I'm pretty sure it's like a toy saxophone. Plays that pretty well.
Okay, I didn't know that. He plays Captain Bombardier.
Bombardier. Okay. Yeah, because that's how Lizzo pronounced it. By the way, Lizzo played the Duchess.
Lizzo, international superstar, musician, writer,
Star Wars was like, we gotta get in on these two.
Yeah, and she played his wife, right, the Duchess. So going back again to this wealth, this opulence, you saw this clearly when Din walked into their dining hall.
Oh, they were having a feast.
And you just saw the costuming and the lighting. It just looked
They were eating to their heart's content.
It looked very expensive. And so again, here's the thing about Jack Black and Lizzo playing these characters. Now, I felt that they were playing, not only, they're very famous, obviously, but they're also playing their characters for laughs. Like, I didn't really felt that I didn't feel that I took them seriously The characters they were playing, I thought it was kind of lighthearted. But if you think about it, what's happening to this government is not a lighthearted situation.
Yeah, that's why they had to cut it with some humor.
Right.
Like, you think about it, this is kind of a really bleak topic here. I mean, we're talking about like an AI uprising, an inside job, a revolution.
I see.
So
Okay.
I think it's like when you put too much salt in a dish, you gotta cut it with something.
Okay, so you thought it was okay to have this comic relief.
Also, I like the characters.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, I guess maybe because I know where this is all leading to. You know, we talked about what happens to the New Republic many years later, and you know, eventually their government is destroyed. Many years down the line in the Force Awakens. I was hoping that they could play up that a little bit more. You know, like the mistakes. You could see the mistakes that they're making slowly but surely. You know, these people are not taking.
You can see the cracks. You can see the cracks in their shield right now.
Yeah, they're not taking this government very seriously. Like I said, they're very selfish, independent. They're just looking out for themselves.
But you remember, the New Republic, they love to make the point of stressing that they're not the Empire.
Yeah.
Because they're worse.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this isn't the Empire, son. Hey, don't forget, this isn't the Empire. Oh, this isn't the Empire. You know, loosen up a little. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. You know,
if you keep telling people so much that you're not the Empire, you're the Empire.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not against people being rich and wealthy and making money and starting a business. That's great. Now look. Now Jack Black, this character, used to work for the Imperials, right? He used to work for the Empire. And he was a part of this amnesty program that Delia Kane is a part of, and
Delia.
Yes, and then the
I thought it was Elliot or something.
Yes.
Kane. We'll call her Kane Sugar for now.
Elia Kane, right?
Right.
And the professor,
Pershing,
Dr. Pershing, were a part of the same amnesty program. And yet he was able to turn his life around and make all this money. Great, fine. But the idea of not having a military, you know, I think that's lackadaisical.
And you know what else? He
Yeah.
worked for the Empire. He should know the value of a good military.
Yes, right.
So like, I don't see where the disconnect is.
Yeah. But it has to do with the new Republic, because you know they it seems like they didn't want this planet or wherever they're from to have this military. They weren't allowed to have a military presence, which is why when they hired the Mandalorians, they were placed somewhere off base, somewhere remote to act as security, but they weren't allowed to step foot on their territory, you know, because of rules. You know, the New Republic has these rules in place that doesn't make sense, you know, and you can see why a threat can just, you know, reappear at some point. You know, the First Order is going to come back, and you can see why, because this government is just not.
Is the First Order even around?
It's not. No, not yet, but it's coming. You know, it's just they're not prepared for it. You know, and you can see that happening. So it's a sad thing. So I was a little taken aback by seeing Lizzo and Jack Black play it so lightheartedly, when you know that, you know, what they're doing is actually
know, they don't care.
They don't know and they don't care. Yeah, exactly. All right, some nerd. I love seeing all the battle droids in action again. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And I love the scene where Din is actually going after.
Well, that was somewhere you started chasing.
It reminded me of the scene. It reminded me of Blade Runner when Deckard, Harrison Ford, is running through the streets trying to chase after a replicant. Yeah, he played Rick Deckard. Yeah, he was.
Well, now I have to watch it.
It's R-rated, but yeah.
Now I have to watch it when I turn 18.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but yeah, so that reminded me.
How graphic is it?
It could be a little graphic. Yeah, yeah. So
we're done here.
So Blade Runner, Jack Black, Tenacious D, Lizzo, I hope I'm spelling that right. Yes,
You
you
did.
are. As a late 80s and 90s kid, I couldn't stop smiling seeing Christopher Lloyd. Yes, shame he was a bad guy. Christopher Lloyd. We didn't talk about Christopher Lloyd. Christopher Lloyd obviously is a veteran actor.
Never seen him before.
Yeah, well, he played Doc Brown in Back to the Future.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
that was him.
That was him. Yeah, yeah. I know he looks different. He doesn't have the hair or anything like that. Yeah, that's Doc Brown. 1.3 gigawatts. That's Doc Brown. Yeah.
It's funny. He's always like, I can't do that. I can't read this letter. It's gonna mess up the time.
Exactly.
And then he's like, well, I wore the bulletproof vest.
Yep, right. Yeah, so that's Christopher Lloyd. So yeah.
Sorry for spoiling the movie.
No. Yeah, well,
I hope you've seen it. If you haven't by now.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was so great to see.
Wow.
We heard earlier on that he was going to be in The Mandalorian.
We did?
Exactly. Yeah, there was rumors, last year that he was in it, but we didn't know who he was going to play. But I think he does a great job playing a villain or the hero. So glad to see him regardless.
He didn't get much dialogue.
Yeah. All right. Charlie, great Scott Marty. That's right. Great Scott Marty. Okay.
I get it though.
I know. It's just like, hey, that's an iconic.
Marty McFly.
Marty McFly is such an iconic character. Yeah, pretty cool. All right. So.
Tell you what.
Yes.
We gotta buy the brickhead to do like a duo build.
Of Marty and Doc.
Yeah, they have
Do they have
Lego
that?
brickheads.
Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'll get them.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah,
Or
we can.
you'll get them.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I'm saving up for that PS4. You can buy that.
All right, we'll build it. We'll build it together. That's pretty cool.
We'll
All
go
right.
to the Lego store when we get home from Venice.
I think we've covered everything that we wanted to talk about with this episode. So I just wanted to just give you a heads up as to what's happening this week. So as you all know, Star Wars fans would know, celebration begins on Friday. All right, so that's April 7th. We will be back on Friday, April 7th to cover any news and announcements that's going to be taking place at the Lucasfilm Showcase. All right. So depending on where you are in the States, we're on the East Coast.
Could be
So-
6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 13 o'clock. I just said 13 o'clock.
You sure did. Okay.
14 o'clock, 15 o'clock, 16 o'clock.
Yeah. So we're going to be up at 6 a.m. Well, at least I'm going to be up at 6 a.m.
We're going to be up at 6 a.m.
We'll be up at 6 a.m. and we're going to watch the Lucasfilm Showcase. We're going to take some notes. Will we see a trailer?
I'm
We
going
don't
to
know.
deprive myself of sleep so I can do this.
Are they going to live stream it? We don't know. But whatever happens, whatever news drop, we're going to be ready to talk about it that same evening, Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a new live stream, another live stream, a special live stream on Friday. So if you can please join us on Friday, please do. Let's talk about it. That's going to be fun to talk about. And
Please join the stream.
yeah.
I'm going to be up for 14 and a half hours.
Right, yeah. So please join us. And we got to talk about it. Something's got to happen. This is, something big's going to drop.
Hopefully some news about Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Some news about Lando.
Yes.
We have not heard anything about Lando since it was announced.
No, we haven't. Charlie, look, Charlie's going to the UK. Good for you, Charlie. Flying out tomorrow. All right. So Charlie, maybe, we may need to talk. Maybe you can be our eyes and ears down there. Just keep us posted as to what's going on. So, all right.
Gosh, I'm trying to think of a Marvel reference I can say right now.
Okay. While you're thinking that, we're going to wrap it up. Once again, we'll be back on Friday to cover the Lucasfilm Showcase. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time is when we'll be on the air for the live stream. So we hope you can join us. All right. So again, thank you for joining us. If you're new, please like and subscribe.
Charlie, we're trusting you here. Don't understand. Last time I trusted somebody, I lost an eye.
Is that from Marvel?
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. Okay,
Yes.
There you go. All right, wonderful.
Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
I love it. All right, Star Wars and Marvel, bringing it all together. All right. So cool. That's very good. Keith, where can people find us?
Well, I'm pretty sure you're already know where to find us if you like to listen to us. But just to recap, we are wherever you can get your podcasts if you want to listen. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Father.Son.Galaxy. Website is Father.Son.Galaxy.com. We have a merch store at Father.Son.Galaxy.mymerchshop.com. And we're excited to announce we've revamped our Patreon page. So you can check that out now.
Very good point. Yeah.
Link in the description.
You know what? We'll talk more about that Patreon page on Friday as well to give you more information. But we are definitely on Patreon. We've upgraded it. But we'll give you more information on Friday. And maybe some other special things we'll talk about on Friday as well. Okay? All right. Don't want to give it away right now. But we'll talk about it on Friday. So we can't wait to talk to you Friday. We keep talking about Friday because we're so excited about Friday. Charlie, you guys are amazing. Have a great time. Also, I will keep my eyes open for you both. LOL. Okay, thank you. Charlie, have a safe flight. Enjoy celebration. Yeah, just let us know. Anything you could tell us, DM us. Let us know what's going on behind the scenes. We can't wait to hear it. All right, so that is it. If there are no more Q&A, just want to confirm. Keith, this was great. Yeah. All right, thank you. We gotta go have dinner. So. Yeah, we're gonna finish up our vacation, and then we'll be back Friday, back at our home. So until then, take care, and we will see you again.